Antigua and Barbuda, the gem of the Caribbean, our little paradise. Moderately low rainfall has been one of the most notable things about Antigua, dating back several decades. But where do we get water from, and is it safe? How do we get water from here to your home?
APUA normally accesses three sources of water. There's groundwater, there's surface water, and there's desalinated water.
APUA collects water from several different sources. At present, our main production comes from the sea via reverse osmosis plant, the desalination process. And this generates for approximately 90% of our total production. The other 10% comes from groundwater.
With a population of just under 100,000 people, why does such a small nation need so many sources of water?
As a small country, we need multiple sources for the sake of having options.
You basically try to be efficient in whatever sources you have, and it all has to do with cost. Groundwater is the cheapest source, which you would prefer to have. Then you have surface water, which is next up, and then desalination, which is a source that you really have to rely on, not the first preference.
At present, APUA gets almost 100% of its water supply from reverse osmosis. But before we dive into that process, let's take a brief look at the other two, ground and surface water.
A well is simply a hole which is dug into the ground where we would extract water from what we call the water table. We would know where these water tables are located for the area of installing a well. Because of the characteristics of well water, you would find that well water is not as turbid or as cloudy as the surface water. So well water doesn't really need a lot of treatment.
This well at Bendel's, which had been the most productive on the island, has seen its production fall from an average of 250,000 gallons per day to around 70,000 gallons. The drought conditions faced over the past few years have caused a drastic change in the quantity and eventually the quality of water we receive from our wells. Additionally, the reduced rainfall has dramatically affected our surface water supply.
Surface water is simply the collection of rains from surface runoff on the Earth's surface collected in what we call dams.
This dry bushland is the nation's largest reservoir, Potworks Dam. The dam once sustained water levels of several feet. In its heyday, APUA would harvest its water by having a submersible pump placed in its depths, which was connected to a line running to the treatment plant. But things have changed dramatically. Over the past few years, APUA has had to move most of the country's reliance on water to reverse osmosis.
Within the last few years, a decision has been taken by the government to go to 100% desalination, not relying on either surface or ground. Number one, the seawater has to be at least 20 feet in depth for our lines, our intake line especially. And number two, we look for a certain level of turbidity, and that turbidity is less than 5. We also look at areas that are strategic in location for our distribution system. We also want to ensure that the plants are not going to interfere with normal day-to-day activities, areas where the government has land. You don't want plants in locations where they're next to developments that could cause a problem with the amount of noise that a plant generates.
It is a difficult and exhaustive exercise faced by APUA in bringing water to our homes and businesses, especially with dwindling resources. What you can do to assist is conserve water as much as possible, so their efforts don't just go down the drain.
We have tapped into the sea a resource we have in abundance to get water from here to your home.